morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you are here. You are in the right place at the right time. We have Carol Manson. Marie is back.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, I'm back. Carol's here. We're going to sing for you guys. Here we go.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. In the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome.
Hey, hey,
Oh,
welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
I'm getting
here.
the message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Come on, Carol, take it away.
My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Hey, my soul is welcome here. Hey, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, all the souls that are welcome here. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Reverend James, and it's great to see you, and it's great to see all of you. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and the warm and loving energy of this community's Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either watching us online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. We are all here by divine appointment. And we're always just so excited to be together. And that excitement extends to the fact that you silence your electronic devices. And please, no flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Now that we created that clearing to connect with the presence, let's do so as we commune in prayer, which is the highest form of technology I think ever known to humankind. Remember that we're living and moving and having our beingness in an energy field. We may call it God, the Atman, Spirit, Divine, but is always here for us and never against us. It is here before we made the incarnation. It'll be here after we shuffle off the mortal coil, and it continues to reflect the consciousness of all those that are in this field. Today we appreciate the support and consciousness of those who supported the United States and others around the world in protecting freedom. And so we acknowledge those that have passed on in this Memorial weekend. Yet we remember that there is always something that we can remember of them and the things that they've done on our behalf. And we incorporate and embody that in our own life. And remember the peace, the love, the joy, the wisdom that we so cherish is always there for us. But we must be the channels to express it. So this morning and each day we remember this truth. We make it the activity of our awareness and the thoughts that we have, the words that we speak, the actions that we take. So that we can say without a doubt that when you see me, you're seeing the same presence from which we have all come. And we make it part of our world. And as we do, not only are we transformed, but the very world in which we live becomes uplifted as well. So we're grateful and thankful to let God be God in us as we go forth and do our part to bring forth a world that works for all. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. We have a very important mission here at Spiritual Life Center that's reflected in our mission statement. So I invite you to join in as we speak together our expanded mission statement. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world, as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we use and embody these 5 basic principles to the best of our ability. Again, let's say them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And of course, the action continues on the mental healing series. This week is our 4th and last week of this introduction to mental healing, and we're going to call it practical application. And so this is the week where we will sit down and actually learn how to write a prayer treatment and for ourselves and for others and share them with each other. It's going to be, I think, an interesting evening. There'll be lots of discussion. The handouts for all of the different classes are on the website. You can download them if you want to get caught up, and you can go and watch the videos. And so if you're interested, we'll see you on Wednesday night. The community meal is at 6, and the program starts at 7.
All right. Well, I know there's some people that just can't get enough cleaning. They've cleaned their house. They've cleaned their car. They've gone to other people's houses and done the same. So if you run out of things to clean, we come here to Spiritual Life Center on our cleanup day on Saturday, June the 10th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It'll be a time of fun and of service to our community. We'll have some coffee and hot water if you want to make some tea, and a lemon will be provided. You can also bring your own drinks and know that we want them to be in alignment with who and what we are. And God is calling to remind us to be here this week for that on June the 10th. We're also going to do some landscaping, so if you want to be part of the landscape, bring your gloves and tools with your own identification so they don't get mixed up with ours or someone else's, and bring a sun hat to keep the sun off your head. And we're going to reorganize the kitchen, clean the appliances, organize the youth ed supplies, and we're going to refill the offering envelopes in our holders here in the sanctuary, and we'll be washing windows for those who just can't get enough of washing windows. We're going to do it inside and outside, so we're going to be here. You can contact Pat Harvey and call the office if you want to be a part of that.
And then the next day, you can come to service in the morning, and then there is the Sambanda Music World of the World concert at 6 p.m. It's at George and Diane Piper's house, and all of the details are on our website. You can go there to purchase tickets, but you can also purchase tickets at the hub. So it's going to be a lovely evening, and so get your ticket now.
Well, we always talk about the idea that we're here to not only transform our lives, but also make a difference in the world. But it always starts with us, because we are the world, as they say. So each month and periodically we have someone to come forward to share their transformational story. And someone invite George Piper to come up, and he's going to be the one for today. Now, last service he was hiding behind me, but I got my eyes behind the back of my head this time so I could see him. I couldn't know where he was. He was looking around, and I said, where is he? Where did he go? Well, thank you, George, for being willing to share this morning your transformational experience. And I want to start out by asking, what was the obstacle or situation that you faced that led you to your journey?
Well, in the late 70s to the late 80s, I found myself living in the fast lane, very fast lane. And while I was in that lane, I discovered a new lover. And that lover's name was Coco.
For those who may not know, Coco was also a friend of mine back in those days. And it is just to say that there were some individuals who were pharmacists, they were unlicensed, and they had 24-hour service.
That's
all right.
Correct, yes. So because I became so loyal to Coco, I fell into a deep downward spiral and found myself in a really, really, really dark place.
So tell me a little bit how that impacted your life. What were the things?
Well, I was spiritually, emotionally, physically, totally bankrupt. And what actually took place was I went into in this spiral, I went into, because of the damage that I had done, because of the wreckage that I had done, I went into a real sense of shame, deep sense of shame, and a deep sense of despair.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you were able to turn that around, did you have a point where you went through like a meandering wilderness experience where you didn't quite know where to turn?
Well, yeah, I had absolutely no sense of purpose. I just existed.
Well, was there a point where things turned around for you? If so, what was that?
Yeah. I found the 12-step program. That was my introduction to spirituality. The 12-step program brought me some sobriety, also brought me ways to cope with the damage that I'd done and with the baggage that I was carrying.
Now, were there some, after you found the 12 steps, were there other practices that you used to kind of keep you on your path and help you evolve spiritually?
Yeah, actually, the 12-step program, I participated in that, but I felt like there was something more. I just kept feeling there's more to this. There's more that I need to do. And so, lo and behold, by divine intervention, guess what I found? Spiritual Life Center and Unity. And, I at first, I knew nothing about Unity, nothing about New Thought. So I eased into the whole New Thought experience, but actually became very, very immersed in the whole thing.
So along the way, did you discover something about yourself? If so, what was that?
Well, yeah, because I finally came to believe that I am a child of God, I was able to accept that my disease and my character defects were okay, and that I was still a whole and complete person.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth. Yeah. So where do you find yourself today? How would you say you describe your life?
Today, I came from a period of total chaos in the 70s and 80s, and today I can say that I'm actually living primarily a life of peace and serenity, and I say primarily because I do have those days.
As we all do from time to time. And I know you mentioned in the earlier service there were a couple practices that really help you. One was the quantum living, and the other was service, I believe.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, the two very important pieces of my transformation. One was the Q effect. And the Q effect, I'd be here for a long time if I told you how that helped me. But basically what it did was get me out of myself, get me away from my ego, controlling my ego, and getting myself out of the way of myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And service, I understand,
Yeah.
was also a big part
And
of it.
service, yes. Again, thank you for reminding me. Service was really the backbone. Being of service has been the backbone of my transformation. As many of you know, I was on the board for 6 years. I was actually on the board for 6 years over at Davis also. And then I was on several committees. And I was a chaplain over at Unity Center of Davis. And at the same time, I was treasurer. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, you were multitasking, so you needed to stay centered. Well, George, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your story, and I hope folks got something out of it that will help them in their life.
Thank you. And I've just forgotten another thing like I did last time.
That's okay, we all do.
Yeah. I just need to say that I am so blessed and grateful to have SLC and Unity as a major part of my life today.
Thank you. God bless. Well, he mentioned his transformational experience, and we all have that opportunity to have our own. And we have many activities that will foster the transformation in our lives. So I invite you to check out our weekly small groups and other offerings we have at Spiritual Life Center. You can find the happenings on the SLC website. They'll give you a list of everything and what goes on. Or you can look at our bulletin board that's in the courtyard that has a list of other activities that take place at Spiritual Life Center. Or you can simply go to the hub and sign up for an event that may be taking place at our community. You know, one of the things that we also do at Spiritual Life Center is to create connection with others. You know, that's a very important part of our journey. And sometimes we go to classes or workshops or seminars or events or social activities. But you don't have to wait for any of that. You can make a connection with a person right here and right now. So I invite you to turn to a friend or a neighbor or a stranger and just greet them in a manner that feels comfortable for you and say, "You are marvelous and glad you are here."
All right, everybody, we're going to sing our group song together. Please stay standing and join us. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I know you're ready, so let's get busy. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me, everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Let's do that again. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me.
All right, let's take it up.
Everything that I need to do about what lies before me. Everything that I need to do about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to accept about lies before me. Everything that I need to accept about lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Through the mind of God within me. Through the mind of God within me.
Please be seated. At this time, as we settle into our chairs, take a nice big deep breath together. We're going to speak out loud our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. I want to sing this beautiful chant in preparation for meditation.
God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right. All is perfect and right. All is perfect and right in my world.
All is perfect and right in our world. And now take a deep breath, slowly exhale. And as we move into this time of meditation, allow your body to relax. Drop your shoulders. Relax your eyelids. Inhale gently and exhale gently. And allow yourself to drift into a light daydream. A soft mist surrounds you and lifts you up until your consciousness floats free and you begin to see another, more ethereal realm. Here, the mist vibrates and sparkles, and points of light wink in and out, and it seems as if they revolve around you. And as you watch and feel this mist, one of the winking lights approaches you, and it expands into a brilliantly colored ball. Other winking lights approach, each expanding into a brilliant ball of light, each taking on a different color. And so you are surrounded by, encircled by, pulsing, brilliantly colored orbs. They are silent, but they are very active and vibrant. And you hear the soft murmuring of a voice. It is so soft that at first you can't tell where it comes from or what it is saying. And then the sound again, just a little bit more clearly, and you hear someone saying your name. Looking around at the orbs, you recognize that one of them is burning a little bit brighter, its color a little purer, and you know that this is the one that is calling your name. It is calling to you. And when you focus on that particular orb, it again calls your name, this time very clearly. And connect with it as it gently and lovingly pulls you right in. You are engulfed by the colored light, and you know this is where you are meant to be. Your light has called you, and you have answered. In this realm, you know everything you need to know. You see everything you need to see. You hear everything you need to hear. And you heal everything you need to heal. And you take it all in the silence. And as you take a breath, you and your colored sphere gently float apart. And in gratitude, you watch as the balls of light begin to rotate around you again. Each ball spins faster and faster until they somehow catch up with one another and merge, billowing into one holy white orb that sparkles and shines and pulsates. You understand that though you are called to the one small colored orb that is uniquely you, it is also part of the one holy orb. The seemingly small part that you play in life is but one aspect, and your aspect is integral to the whole. And as you take another breath or two to return to your physical body, please receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, it is okay to make your life your life. When you are complete, you only add to the whole, because everything is an aspect of the whole. The universe cannot do without any of its aspects. You are a holy part of the whole. What you do matters. It matters to you. It matters to others. It matters to the universe. When you answer the call, when you are truly you, the angels sing. Remember this, always.
Oh, let us be a generation of reconciliation and peace, and let us be a holy nation where pride and prejudice shall cease. Let us speak the truth in love so that every
Thank you, Carol Manson, Louis Shiflett, thanks for coming back and being back. Soul Life Connection, and just remind us, let us be a nation of reconciliation and peace. And I would say joy and love and all that's good and perfect, and just a bright day. That's why we have orange today. I had to wear some orange just to brighten up my mood. So, I'm feeling better now. Feeling by orange. And you all this morning. Well, there was a young man, his name was Alex. And Alex was a very talented painter. He had his own art studio. But he was at a point in his life that he felt that he had lost his creative spark. At least he thought that was the case. Because he said he would stand in front of a blank canvas. He would feel uninspired. He would feel defeated. And he was talking to himself and saying things like, I can't seem to create anything anymore. I don't know what's wrong with my life. There's nothing meaningful that's happening for me. And he said he was going through a downward spiral, and he was doing so emotionally and spiritually as well as psychologically. And one day his mentor came in to his studio just to visit him and see what was happening in his life. And he was noticing and seeing that he was struggling. He sensed his frustration. He sensed his being stuck. And he said to him, kind of like in a guru-like fashion, he said, Alex, artistry is a reflection of the soul. And the canvas is simply a mirror of your own potential. And if you want to turn your life around, you have to start by just picking up the brush and allowing your thoughts to flow onto the canvas. And Alex, he wasn't really hearing it at the moment. He wasn't going for it. He said, I have painter's block. I'm stuck. And the mentor said to him, do you think when a plumber comes to your house and says, I can't fix your sink because I have plumber's block, do you think that's a real thing? That was just a belief. The belief that, the plumber didn't have plumber's block. It's just because who he was and what he did was being a plumber. I think in order to have a power transformation, that a blank canvas can be turned into a unique vision for our life, is what you need to do for your life. And so Alex took those words to heart, and to make a long story short, he went on to great, magnificent pieces of art and attracted people from miles around, and he stood before his completed work and surrounded by many admirers. And he realized that his true beauty of his art was not just in finishing the painting, but in the journey he undertook to create it. He discovered that by altering his thoughts and embracing his own creative power, his life could be transformed and turned to a life of authenticity and purpose for him. And I think his experience is a testament to the potential that lies within all of us. And just like the painter and his canvas, we have the ability to transform our lives brushstroke by brushstroke and create a masterpiece that reflects our true selves. In other words, we have the power to turn our lives around, and that power is within us, waiting to be unleashed at each and every moment of our life. So if any stage in life that we're feeling that we're unhappy with the direction that it's going, direction that it's moving to, we need to know that it can be turned around. And the first thing we must understand that in order to turn around our life, we have to remember this first and foremost. It's our life. Our life. And our life, first and foremost, starts with our thoughts. And so we can change our life by first altering our thoughts. Like I said, sometimes this is easier said than done. I often wake up in the morning and, I tell myself, before I start my day, I tell myself, man, I'm going to start my day and I'm going to keep nothing but positive thoughts and positive words. I'm not going to judge anybody. And as soon as I walk out the door, I start thinking negative and start judging the people that I see. And then I said, my God, I can't do this. But the key is to realize that our thoughts influence our actions, and that we can take an idea of what our life is going to be by simply previewing our thinking. I always say, if you want to see what your life is going to start looking like tomorrow or the next day or the next week, what are we thinking right now? Because along the way, and secondly, and related to this idea, is to remember that life is consciousness. If I were to sum up the full idea of what this philosophy is of new thought and unity, is that life is consciousness. And we may ask, what is that? Well, let me tell you, it's just simply the sum total of our beliefs and that is energized by our feelings. Fortunately, not every thought that we have matters. At least in my life, I'm glad that they all don't matter. Because sometimes I wonder, man, I'm glad that I'm not like in a huge arena of 1,000 people and they can read every thought that I have. That would not be a good thing. But the thoughts that are backed up by our feelings, they do matter. The thoughts and the feelings we constantly reinforce create our consciousness. So where you and I stand today, wherever we are today, is due to the accumulation of our own awareness, our own consciousness over time. And the only way to stand somewhere else other than where we are right now is to change, transform our awareness, transform our consciousness. And if we want to go up higher, and we can definitely do that, as I like to say, no matter where we are, no matter what we've done, there's something within us that's saying to us in a feeling, if not in words, there's always more in you. Because there's no limit to how high we can elevate our life and our world. We have to renew our minds first and foremost, however. We have to begin by rethinking. And so we hear that statement, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, and find out what that means. You know, Alice had to rethink the belief that painter's block, like plumber's block, was a thing. It wasn't. It was something that somebody made up and became part of his consciousness. And certain states of consciousness end up creating limitations in our lives. And when they are recycled, they create sometimes a negative momentum that gets deeper and deeper and deeper. There's a statement attributed to the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, and he said, in the world you shall see tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. Well, meaning, I believe it means getting into a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness to experience freedom from any limitations we are going through and rise above what we may be unhappy about at any given moment. I remember years ago I was counseling, praying with a young woman who had been released from her job or employment. And she thought and she believed and she felt demoralized. And after thinking it through, she realized to turn her experience around, she had to get out of the belief that, oh, I'm demoralized, or woe is me consciousness, and get into I am inspired consciousness. I come from an inspired place. She had to get to the possibility that my consciousness can rise to something higher and to begin to feel it first and foremost. So when we hear the words, oh, I've overcome the world, it simply means to get into a higher level of awareness, a higher level of vibration. As I said, life is consciousness. It is the outpicturing of our deeply held beliefs and our authentic feelings. So to turn our life around or any situation around, we must get the thought, we must get the feeling that we are seeking to get. It already comes through us. It doesn't come to us. So that young person who was released from her position, she realized that she had to have that awareness, that consciousness, that feeling that she was already there where she wanted to be. And I think for ourselves, if we're not satisfied with the direction of any part of our life or unhappy with any experiences that continuously show up, we can change by changing and getting a new attitude and feeling and take on the attitude and feeling as if we are already experiencing where we want to be. We do it right now. You know, the human ego may say, oh, I don't believe it's possible. I feel unworthy. I feel defeated. But our thoughts and feelings are not beyond the control of our willpower. We are not our thoughts. We are not our feelings. We have them. And there's a part of us that has those thoughts and feelings, but they can be reversed. So I think to rethink and turn life around, there's a simple, powerful tool that is always at our disposal, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. And that tool is questions. I think if we ask bigger, more expansive, richer questions of ourselves, life begins to change simply by asking the question. When I was at a crossroads in my life, feeling stuck, and I've had several of those, but many years ago, I went to a very wise and experienced man for some guidance. And he ended up serving as an informal mentor for me over time. And as I was telling him my story over and over again about where I was and how life was messed up and, what was wrong with the world, what was wrong with me, he asked me this question. He asked, who are you uninterrupted? And I told him I didn't quite understand what do you mean by that? What does that question mean? And he went on to further elaborate. He said, what if nothing stood in the way of your life from achieving what you want? What would your life look like? And I had to contemplate that. It kind of stopped me in my tracks because I hadn't really consciously thought about what was interrupting me. Well, I hadn't thought about those things that were stopping me from going to a new level in my life. And that moment marked the beginning of a transformative journey, and my life began to turn around. It was turned around by asking the right questions that would pull me to another way of seeing the world and myself. I believe by asking the right questions, we can gain clarity. We can challenge our assumptions. We can discover new possibilities by genuine repentance and rethinking. There's a lot of questions we could ask ourselves, but there's a couple that just come to mind for this talk. And the first one, what is truly important to me? What's important to me and my soul? Oftentimes we get caught up in the busyness of life and what other people say and think, what comes through the television set, and we lose sight of our own priorities. I think by asking ourselves what is genuinely important, we can help identify our core values that come from deep within us, our core aspirations. And I think this question forces us to reflect on things that bring us joy, that bring us fulfillment, that bring us a sense of purpose. Because when we're in alignment with our purpose, when in alignment with those spiritual values of who and what we are, we start to create a life that is authentic and meaningful. And when we're captured by our purpose, we rise above the seeming problems that we're going through. Because what I realize is that the challenges that we have, we most of the times have attracted in our life, on some level or another, maybe not consciously. And I realized that the Spirit of God, this all-knowing presence, this all-powerful presence, it don't know nothing about our problems. We do. And sometimes we go over and over and over again, but if we begin to think differently, we can have those problems return to the nothingness from which they have come, never to exist again. But there's another question I think we can ask. What am I afraid of? What is it costing me? Now, healthy fear is okay. I think for humanity, it was an important part of our survival. Because if you ever run into a person that has absolutely no fear of anything at all, they're probably on the verge of being a psychopath. Or they won't survive very long in the world. But some fear, which is a powerful emotion, can often hold us back from pursuing our dreams and reaching our full potential. By acknowledging and understanding our fears, we can confront them head on and break free from their grip. Somebody told me when we have these things that we face that are fearful for us, I don't know about you, but I have those things come up from time to time. He said, you got to face it to erase it. Somebody got to face it to erase it. So I think this question encouraged self-reflection and self-awareness, enabling us to identify the limiting beliefs and behaviors that are hindering our progress. I think when we ask such questions as these, it helps us rethink. And this rethinking leads us to act differently and to create different experiences for us. I always say if we don't think differently, we end up staying the same. I always say if we're staying the same and the world, the universe is always advancing, always expanding, always growing, if we're staying the same, we're actually going backwards. And sometimes we may feel that we're on this hamster wheel of life, never turning our life or circumstances around at all. You know, there's a young man, his name was Miguel, I knew years ago. He had a good paying job, I think it was in accounting or management. But he always had this dream of publishing a novel in Spanish and South American folks that he knew. But he constantly doubted his abilities. He feared rejection. He feared failure. And that fear of failure had become a significant barrier in pursuing his passion. And recognizing this fear was preventing him from fulfilling his life, he decided that he had to face it. So he sought feedback from trusted friends and from his mentors. He began to hone his writing skills and take classes and workshops and, hang around folks who were doing writing. And ultimately, he published his own book that did really well in South America. But he confronted his fear to achieve his lifelong dream, but he also boosted his confidence. And it opened doors to new opportunities. I've come to realize that asking the right questions can be a catalyst for transformation in our life, because it requires us to be introspective and honest with ourselves and a willingness to challenge our current beliefs and our assumptions. And when we do so, we open up ourselves to new perspectives, new possibilities, new ways to grow. I think it's never too late to turn life around. It's never too late to break patterns or negativity that keep us from moving forward, because this negativity shows up over and over again. And those patterns may be beliefs. They may be feelings like, oh, I'm too old, or I'm too young to do that, or I believe I'm always destined to have a life that's just out of whack, or I'm destined to be lonely or always in financial straits. What we have to do, we have to rethink and infuse our thoughts with feelings and then follow that with a higher way of thinking and feeling and living. We can wake up from self-limiting negative momentum thoughts and wake up to self-releasing, upward-moving thoughts and feelings. And when we do, we'll experience an endless flow of good. And I think to get there, we must embody the true meaning of repent, to have a reversal of our minds so that we can elevate our consciousness and break free from limited conditions. So we can ask, what empowering new thoughts and beliefs am I programming my mind with? So sometimes we can just ask ourselves some simple questions. I'm just going to ask you to affirm them with me and speak with me together. You can just say, why am I so magnificent? Why am I so healthy? Why am I so amazing? Why does all things work together for my good? Why am I so good looking? We start asking those questions, something in ourselves begin to dance. It applies to turning our lives around, not only individually, but also we can ask, what can we do to turn our world around? We heard the song, reconciliation, we want peace. I think we want peace and we want love in all the land. Just the quote Pharoah Sanders, he said, happiness in all the land, peace and love in all the land. There's a song, something to that effect. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and love in all the land. But we don't want to limit it to going to a single peace event. Because we can't claim that we want peace when we're using maybe violent language toward other people or ourselves, most important. We can't stand for peace when we're emanating unpeaceful energy or language. When some people say they're going to a place of peace and joy and wisdom, but they're trampling on flowers on their way to get there. Or when they get in their car, somebody crosses them and they give them your number one salute. We can't emanate that kind of energy and say we want to have peace in our life in the world. We must demonstrate what we want to see in our world. When we see anything in the external world that does not reflect the highest and best of who we are, rather than judge it or judge another person, we look and see, is there an aspect of myself that I may need to turn around first and foremost? And if enough people do that, a greater consciousness will emerge. We can look at the world and see evidence of separation and not living out our oneness with one another and oneness with the Spirit of God. We see war. We see violence. We see political polarization. We see bigotry. All of these things are messages that there's an opportunity to turn around a low vibration, that sense of separation, to that high vibration that realizes our oneness with the qualities of Spirit. It starts with one person at a time asking, what would be the highest expression of myself I want to see in the world? And we ask this thing first thing in the morning as we start our day, and not walking out the door until we are that person. So when we see adversity in our life, the question we want to ask, how can I turn that around? We may have to go counterculture, go against what the norm is. When everyone else is in a consciousness of lack and limitation and not enoughness, this is a time to come from a consciousness of absolute abundance and be a giver. When everyone else is in fear, that is the time to exercise our faith muscle. When people are in their bag of hatred and bigotry, they're otherizing other people, this is the time to show compassion. When the world believes that for me to win, you have to lose, and I therefore must destroy my so-called competitor, that is the time to practice the law of being that we see, because we will attract that in our life with ease and grace. Now, this may be counterculture. This is not sometimes what we're taught. Sometimes when we go out in the world, we're taught to kick butt, take names, make somebody else pay for what they have done. But as more and more people do what we can to turn the world around through being counterculture, something happens. It happens because our world is nothing more than a reflection of our group soul, our group consciousness. As that statement goes, as within, so without. And as we change, not only we turn our life around, not only we turn our circumstances around, but we begin to uplift the entire world, because we are this world. Peace and blessings to you. Well, next week I'll be here talking to you about, did you make the grade? This is kind of graduation time in many schools locally and around the planet. And so have we made the grade in life to move from one stage of our development to the next? So that's what I'm going to talk about next week. And let's see what else we got going on. If you want prayer and you have a challenge that you're going through or experiencing, the chaplains are available to pray with you right after the service. They're wearing the white stoles. And, they'll help you see things from a different perspective, and that's what they do. Sometimes we want to come with our story, but they want to let you know that, let's connect with the all-knowing presence. And that all-knowing presence has the answer to every seeming challenge, because it only knows divine solutions. When I was at Silent Unity, when I used to pray there, be part of my practicum, when everybody came in and talked about their story, the first thing we do is say, how may I pray with you? And get in alignment with that. So anyway, the chaplain is available to pray with you right after this service. And for those who may be new, either online or here today, you can fill out a welcome card and connect with us, and then we'll let you know what's going on in our service in our programs, our activities, our classes, and just kind of keep you up to date. And I want to ask, is anyone here new today? Any first-timers here today? Anyone here for the first? Oh, keep your hand up nice and high. We got a couple first-timers. We thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. We affirm the magnificence that you are. And we're here to support you in any way we can to help you evolve into the very best person that you have come here to be. And you have a tag that you can put on, and if you want to get that special Spiritual Life Center greeting from some of our friends and members of Spiritual Life Center, you can do that and fill out the card if you want to stay in touch with what's happening. So we thank you and we appreciate you. At this time, I would invite those who may be watching online, either live or on a replay, if you'd like to support Spiritual Life Center with your gift or your offering. You can simply text SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and give in other ways, including by mail. So we appreciate the support, because we can make this available to as many people as possible. And if you're watching us, like us, comment, subscribe, share with other people, because more people will know about us when we do that. For those who are here now who want to give or have given already, know that you're in the flow of a principle that says whatever you give out comes back. And so let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Jamaica feel, y'all got it? Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, y'all, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful right here, right now. Yeah. Something wonderful, yeah.
Something wonderful is always happening. Sometimes we have to look hard for it, but it's there. So let's take this moment to bless those who have blessed us with their gifts and offerings, whether they've been online or here in person or automatic giving throughout the week and month, for supporting a place for those who are seeking to evolve into the very best that they can be, who are seeking to turn a situation in their life around so they can see the possibilities of the human spirit waiting to be expressed. So we express thanks and appreciation for that giving, knowing that whatever we express appreciation for, it begins to grow, develop, and unfold to become even more. And we acknowledge those who have left their prayers in the prayer box, because we all have challenges that come up in this thing called life from time to time. And when they do, we want to know there's a place and an essence or presence that we can lean on, that can usher us through, that has the answer to our seeming challenge or problem, because we know in the mind and the heart of pure spirit, there are no challenges or problems, only divine and perfect spiritual solutions. And so we recognize and affirm, as that statement goes, before they call, I have already answered you. There's a solution to every seeming challenge that we face. And our task is to lift our vibration, our energy, our consciousness to be one with that solution and watch how Spirit reveals it in our life and in our world. It is already done. And we say, thank you, God. Amen. So let us join together as we affirm our prayer for protection and realize our oneness with all these words and say them as if we're hearing them for the first time and know that they are the truth. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Let us now sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let it begin with me.
Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator,
God as creator,
family all are we.
family all are we.
Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.
Let this be the moment.
With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
Peace and blessings to you. Know you can turn your life around and hang around for some postlude music from our music team.
That's right, Carol's got something to say.
Y'all know what that means. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. I said I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking. I'm gonna keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Hey,
Turn me around, turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking.
I'm gonna build a brand new world. Hey, hey.
I ain't gonna let no fears turn me around, turn me around.
Say, turn me around. I ain't gonna let no fear
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep
Keep on walking, keep on talking.
I'm gonna build a brand new world. Hey, hey, I ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around. Turn me around. Turn me around. I ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. I ain't gonna let no disease turn me around. Hey, turn me around. Turn me around. I ain't gonna let no disease turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. Hey, I ain't gonna let no doubts turn me around. Hey, turn me around. Hey, turn me around. I ain't gonna let no doubts
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. Hey, nobody, I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Turn me around. I said, turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. Whoa, whoa, I ain't gonna let nobody. Turn me around. Hey, hey, Army. I said,
Turn me around.
I did.
Don't let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking.
Keep on talking. Y'all, I'm gonna build a brand new. This daddy say, new.